What's up? This spiritual journey lately has got me effed up, okay? And it's not the first time I've gone through this, just like I'm sure it's not the first time you've gone through it, whether you're new or you've been on your spiritual journey for a while, like myself. It's not all like Zen and angel numbers and peace and kumbaya. It's freaking chaotic, and there's a lot about a spiritual awakening that is very difficult, and it can often feel lonely because not a lot of people, at least for me, in my life, are going through it. And so today I want to talk about 10, is it paradoxes? Paradoxi? Whatever. That those of us going through a spiritual awakening will most likely face if you haven't already. If you're new here, I'm Sarah, and I create this channel to give you everyday practical ways to master yourself, to bring more peace into your life, to bring more love and happiness and joy and all of the good things that we all want, that sometimes, depending on what part of the path we're on, may seem hard to attain. And I do all of this through self-mastery and spirituality. Spiritual awakening is a very complex and raw thing to go through. And as I've talked about in other videos, there's a lot of cycles that happen within the spiritual awakening. And so because of that, it can be quite confusing because we've got this huge, burning bright soul aspect of us, and we have our human self, right? And it's very confusing at times because it's really intense. You know, it's remembering who you are and not you as the person in your name. Like, not remembering that I'm Sarah, but remembering that I'm so much more than her, grander than her. And when we stop running on autopilot and we start asking these insane questions like, what is my purpose really? Why am I here? And most importantly, why does everything feel fake? And here's the main paradox. We wake up to the beauty of what is our soul and what is inside of us and how everything is connected and how we are so much grander than what we have been conditioned to believe throughout our lives. But at the same time, it forces us to face all of these shadows that maybe we were purposely avoiding, but what I've come to realize over the years is that a lot of times we didn't even know that a lot of these shadow parts were even a part of us. So the first paradox I want to talk about is something that I faced probably most intensely in the very beginning, but that it has come up over and over again throughout the last 5 years of my spiritual journey. And from talking to others on their journey, I feel like this is a very common one, and that is feeling alone, but also deeply connected. It's feeling more connected to source and spirit and everyone and the plants and the universe and all of those things, but also never feeling more isolated and more alone. And often it's because the people around us don't really feel in alignment anymore, and it's harder to relate to those same people, or maybe the place that you live, or maybe the job. That was a big one for me when I started going through my awakening. I think I only lasted like a year, maybe 6 months. Yeah, I don't know, somewhere around that within the job that I was, in back then. You're more so starting to speak the language of energy and vibration, while the majority of the people around you online on this planet are still stuck in the matrix and this hustle and grind mentality. Thing is you will start to create room for those of you that are on the same journey as you. Even for me, 5 years in, I've met so many wonderful, beautiful souls along the way, but mostly like none of them have stuck for the long term. They're just not people that I talk to regularly, even though I might check in with them every few months or so, like that. So it's just this weird paradox of feeling connected but also feeling very alone. So paradox number 2, your human body, you may be feeling exhausted, like so beyond tired, but your soul is kind of like trying to shine through and is very loud. It's kind of like the more you get into your spirituality and your awakening, your soul starts to really shine through, but also the more that your human self struggles. This is feeling very maybe like emotionally raw, chronically exhausted, unmotivated by things that used to excite you, and super hyper aware of all of the pain and suffering that is going on in the world. And the reason for this is because you're kind of going through like a detox. And what I mean by that is almost like a detox of unconscious living. Think about if you were 100% of the time wearing sunglasses your entire life, right? Whether you were inside, outside, morning, night, it didn't matter. You were always wearing sunglasses. And then one day you take the sunglasses off and you're outside and it's sunny. That shit is going to burn even though it's light, right? So there's a few things that happen here. Your nervous system needs time to adjust. If you want like a quick 8-minute meditation on regulating your nervous system, I would check out this video right here. Another thing is like your ego, right? Like your ego starts to panic and sometimes cling on to the old you because it's losing control. And the bottom line here is that your soul, you didn't choose to come to this earth and to get into this human body to escape humanity, but you came here to alchemize it, right? To learn and to grow and to alchemize, and I can't think of another like word to use, but like to alchemize what it means to be a human, right? When you think of some of the greats like Buddha or Jesus, these were profound teachers of this type of thing, right? When you think about Jesus, who walked on water and said, you know, you can do everything I can do and more, that's what he's talking about, right? There are people out there that can walk on water, but for those who are so stuck in the matrix, they'll think that that's crazy and that's not true and it's fake, when there are people like us out here that know that that's not the case. I mean, just over Christmas, with my brother, we started kind of messing around with like water bending a little bit, and I really haven't practiced it since then, but we were able to do it. You know, we were able to move this bottle cap in water with our minds. It was actually super wild. And we ran downstairs, we told our parents, they're like, there's no way, they didn't believe it at all, and then we saw them, they were like, whoa! We're like, yeah, see, like this shit's real, but we've been so conditioned to believe that it's not. The next paradox I want to talk about is letting go in order to gain power. I don't mean power over people, but the fact that we are conditioned through society to want to control everything. This is a huge one for me and something that I still have a lot of work to do on. But when you go down this spiritual path, you'll start to learn that you actually gain power over yourself, self-mastery, when you do surrender. It's the knowing that the closer that you get to your soul's purpose is by letting go of your need to figure it all out. Control creates tension, right? And surrender creates flow. And surrender is not giving up, right? Like, it's not weakness. It's trusting divine intelligence that we are a part of to guide you. Because when we stop forcing things, that is when we start receiving the things that we want. Another paradox of going through a spiritual awakening, and I know that this is one that the majority of those on this path, if not everyone, go through, is outgrowing people. Many people you'll realize in your life that you thought were forever people, whether it's family members or coworkers or friends or your partner. They start to feel distant and misaligned and draining. And as I've said before, it's not that you're better than them. It's just a difference, right? That you're just operating at a different frequency now. And that's why it feels so off. And so part of this paradox is being able and having the capability and capacity to love at a deeper level than you ever have before, but also learning how to create very strong boundaries. It's love with self-respect, not one or the other. So my advice here is to let people go with grace, because not everyone is going to walk the entire path with you. And I know it can feel heartbreaking. There's a few people in my life that I've gone through this with, and for me it took a lot of time, and I really went through the stages of grief. The next paradox I want to talk about, and this one it's emotional, right? And it's wanting to save the world, but knowing that you have to heal and save yourself first. Because once you start to get really tapped into the energies, you begin to feel everyone's pain. Now, someone like myself and many of you out there who are empaths, and if you aren't sure if you are one or not, I would recommend checking out this empath video I recently created. You're already feeling that, but once you start going through your awakening, it's so much deeper and so much more complex. And you want to fix them, you want to help them, you want to help other people awaken, you want to heal the planet and all of the people and the animals and the plants and everything that's within it. But meanwhile, if you're like me, you're still trying to figure out how to get out of bed some days. I mean, I'll be freaking for real with you. My plan was to get this video filmed today because I've been working on these paradoxes for a while, and I knew today was a good day to do it. I'd have a little extra time, and I had a really rough morning. I mean, I freaking was like in rage mode today. I cried, all the things, and I'm like, how am I gonna film this video today? Sometimes you just gotta show up. And you know, I just realized that, well, I'm not my normal like peppy self today, but it's like, guess what? That's human. That's the paradox, right? Like, people think that a spiritual awakening is all rainbows and light and love, and it's not, because we are still human, and we still have problems that we had to deal with in our life, and we still have emotions that sometimes can take over, right? And so what you'll learn is that you can't pour from an empty cup. And what this awakening hopefully is starting to teach you is that you change the world by healing and changing and growing within yourself. Because if everyone in the world does that, or even just a percentage, that in itself will change the world, because of the way people are showing up and elevating. When you heal yourself, the energy and that healing has a ripple effect because of the fact that we are all connected. The next paradox is one I experience quite often as well, obviously, because this is how I came up with this list. It's still something and I struggle with sometimes, and that is experiencing big highs or miracles or whatever you want to call them while the world is so broken. A personal example of this was in 2020. That was the year that I, up to this point, have made the most money in like a single year that I've ever made. Meanwhile, we all know what was going on in 2020, right? And there was a huge part of me that felt very guilty and very ashamed that I was having such success while the world was in such chaos. The world feels so intense right now with wars and corruption and disasters. And here we are, right? Experiencing synchronicities and connection and love, feeling grateful and having these moments of divine clarity and downloads. And so it's like we're living in these two very opposite worlds. You know, you might be on this side of that world for 1 minute and then this side on the next. And what's cool about that, not cool, but again, see, I'm feeling even guilty kind of like talking about this, right? Is we've got one of these worlds that is collapsing. The fear and the control and the world government systems and all of that stuff. And then we've got this other world that is rising, and that is connection and love and peace and based on the soul, right? This is ego, this is soul, and what your, I'm not going to tell you what your purpose is, but part of why you are going through this spiritual awakening at this time, in this moment of the chaos, is because you are here to help collapse this and bring this to the top, right? You are here to help anchor in this new earth. And if you want to learn more about that, I would check out this video here. And so what you can do to help the world shift into this new earth and into this new way of being is to just start embodying it, especially when everything around you is falling apart. Let's talk about this paradox, because I feel like a lot of people, whether teachers or those going through a spiritual awakening, they feel like it's this chronological timeline. First you go through your awakening, then you go through the dark night of your soul, then you go through the hermit phase, then you go through blah, 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 right? It is not a one-time event. It is a cycle. It is layers. And the way I kind of envision it, right, is you're going through this cycle, but as you go through your awakening and begin to master yourself, the cycle goes upwards, right? So you're still kind of going through this cycle, but it's an elevated cycle every time, right? And it's easier to deal with each time. So for example, I'm like really out of my, I feel very dense right now. Like I'm very much out of my spiritual practices. I probably haven't meditated in like a week. I'm not doing a lot of my dream stuff, my journaling stuff. I'm just like, I'm not reading a lot right now. Like I'm just very like out of my spirituality right now. And the first and maybe second time that this happened, I was also scared because I'm like, oh my God, I'm losing my spirituality. Like, what if I can never get back to that point, right? Whereas now I realize this is just like a little phase. It's just a little bump. It's just a little season. It's part of the ongoing cycle, right? And so it doesn't hit me as hard because I realize that I will come out of it, just like I have multiple times before. We will go through these big awakening moments, and then life will humble you again. You will expand and then you contract, and you expand and then you contract, right? And so for me right now, and maybe you, and that's why you're watching this, is that maybe you're in a contraction period right now. But it's okay. It's just part of the process. And the beauty of it is that every cycle, every layer that you go through brings you closer to truth. Because isn't that what we all are? We're these insane truth seekers on this crazy journey together. The next paradox I want to talk about that I think many people experience is becoming more sensitive, but also simultaneously stronger. You probably feel more and you probably cry more, and you'll notice other things that most people will miss, like subtle energy shifts, subtle intentions, maybe the pain behind someone's smile, right? Other people just see someone smiling and you're like, no, I know that's fake. But simultaneously you're growing stronger in your presence and who you are, and you're stepping into your truth and your authentic self. I mean, I would suggest if you want to see it in like real time, go back like, I don't know, 3 years on my YouTube videos, and you will see, you'll be able to see it. Like if you watch this video and then you go back and watch that video, you'll see that energy shift, and you'll see me stepping more into my authentic self now versus where I was then. And it's just because I was earlier on in my journey. And now, like back then, I wouldn't have filmed this video because I wasn't feeling super happy and excited and positive, right? But now I realize, well, part of my authenticity is that I don't feel that way all the time. And why would I want to only present that side of myself to you? Because I've learned over the years to really love who I am, and not just the happy, positive sides of me, but the sides of me that wanted to punch a wall earlier. You know what I mean? And so what happens here is waking up doesn't make you fragile just because you feel more. It just makes you more real and more you. And the last paradox I want to talk about is when you begin to understand your power. It is terrifying, and it is also beautiful. It's beginning to understand that you were the creator all along, that your thoughts and your emotions and your beliefs are the things that have created this reality. And I think the big difference here is that you can go one way or the other, right? You can beat yourself up if you're not where you want to be for your past, or you can use that to ignite your future, because it's scary, but it's also empowering, and only you get to decide which way it's going to be for you, because now there's no one else to blame. We can't go back. We can't choose how others have treated us, right? It is not our fault if we have been mistreated throughout our lives, but it is our responsibility to heal those things, to find the lessons in them, and to grow from them. It is all you. It is your vibration, your intention, but it's also the key to freedom. It is the key to everything. It is the key to peace. It is the key to your happiness. It is the key to your relationship with yourselves, your relationship with your body, your relationships with others. It's so empowering. And it can be a little scary, but you get to decide, like, which way are you going to look at it. So my whole point in creating this video is because if you feel like you're waking up and it feels messy and it feels confusing and painful, but also magical, all at once, somehow you feel all these things at once, you're doing it right. A spiritual awakening is not about escaping the human experience. It's about fully stepping into the human experience while you are fully awake. So I ask you to honor the paradox, to cry and then laugh at yourself for crying like I do so often, to grieve, but to also celebrate, to release and rise. All the paradoxi, whatever it is. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be real, and you are here to be rawly and limitlessly you, okay? I really hope you found value in this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with someone who might be struggling with this just as much as you are. I love you guys so much. I am right here with you. If you're struggling with any of these things, please let me know in the comments, and I promise I will respond to you. I love you so much, and don't forget, be limitlessly yourself.